As the elected successor to Mayor Kasim Reed's scandal-laden administration, Keisha Lance Bottoms has dealt with scandals of her own, both during her campaign for mayor as well as her first term in office. After 19 months in office, Mayor Bottoms has yet to make long strides towards ethics reform, despite her promise in her inaugural address to give Atlanta a new day. So far, it's more like Groundhog's Day. Here are a few reasons why I feel not much has changed. First, her campaign struggled to correctly disclose campaign contributions, and the campaign was largely funded by city contractors, just like Reed. Second, despite having promised not to award contracts to campaign contributors without independent vetting, right after taking office, she did it anyway, hiring a law firm whose attorneys had contributed to her campaign to represent the city. Third, having her administration use taxpayer dollars to employ a former council member and campaign staffers was questionable. And in response to the criticism, she used a $950 an hour private attorney with a law firm that represents the city for an internal investigation that uncovered nothing. Then she vetoed legislation passed by the city council, creating an independent investigation. And Mayor Bottoms just stands by while the city attorney obstructs separate investigations by both the city auditor and the city ethics officer by refusing to produce some requested records, claiming they're attorney-client privileged. Fourth, in what I believe is a delay tactic, she created the Task Force for the Promotion of Public Trust to recommend changes to Atlanta's ethics laws. But two members of this slow-moving task force have been accused of having conflicts of interest of their own and have already been asked to resign. And finally, the most significant reason to me, Mayor Bottoms has resisted the creation of a compliance officer even though it was a campaign promise she made. After more than a year in office, Mayor Bottoms had not even started working on the compliance position. So Atlanta City Council President Felicia Moore, who I consider a champion of ethics, teamed up with new Councilwoman Jennifer Ide to introduce legislation for an independent Office of Compliance to investigate fraud, waste, and abuse. This far-reaching legislation was the most positive, sweeping reform attempt in decades, possibly even city history. You would think a mayor in a city currently under a multi-year federal bribery probe would embrace such legislation, but not Bottoms. She first came out against it, then softened her position and begrudgingly accepted it, only then to attempt to delay its implementation by saying it could not be funded until her joke of a task force completed its work. Fortunately, several council members stood strong and said they would not vote for the mayor's budget if it did not include funding for the compliance office. The council asked for $1.4 million. A lot of money, but I think it would build a strong office that can truly make a difference. The mayor's response? Fund the office with $300,000, less than 25% of what the council requested. So this mayor's attempt to bring Atlanta a new day so far, do you like it or not? I'm betting you said not, and I agree. For viewers living outside of Atlanta, push your local elected officials to pass stronger ethics laws. For those of you in Atlanta, contact Mayor Bottoms and ask her to fully fund the compliance office. That would start Atlanta on a path to a new day. So now it's time to please the lawyers with this disclaimer. The opinion in this piece is mine and mine alone, and not the opinion of Fox 5 or its staff. But I would like to know your opinion. So tell us if you like it or not, and who knows, I may respond to you on Fox 5.